JD Atkins here with ALFBCHAT. We are at the online clinic being put on by Chief Pigskin. I'm here today with my co-host Will Johnson, and we are sitting down with Coach Hambrite of Charles Henderson High School. Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How about y'all?
We're doing good, man. Well, tell us what you talked about in there.
Well, initially, the first one was about building the culture. For us, it was 2-8 first year, then 12-2 state championship runner-up. So I felt like I could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah.
There's always ways to build a culture, and when you're talking about building a culture, your way may not be my way may not be your way, but that doesn't mean either of us are wrong.
Yeah.
There's always 2 or 3 ways to get to the math problem solution of a math problem.
Yeah.
The school I went to may have taught it differently than you, but at the same time, if we get to the same solution and the ending product, then that's all that matters.
Yes, sir.
That was pretty fun. And the next one was the weight room. That's a 3-phase part to the weight room. Right now, we in Tier 1. Every football organization high school organization should be in Tier 1, and that's spring. We're trying to get bigger, faster, stronger, bulking. And then talked about the summer. That's the part where you kind of be more agile. You work on endurance. You combine the strength and endurance piece, and work on your circuits. Work on isolating those joints and things of that nature. Then, Tier 3, of course, is in season. That's when you are trying to maintain, continue to work those joints. Try to prevent those knee, those ankle, those shoulder injuries. So, that's pretty much the gist of what I talked about for the first 2 topics.
Coach, you're at Charles Henderson High School. Like you just mentioned, came off a really good year, 12-2, came off a state championship runner-up appearance. Coach, what's it been like, to go from a 2-8 season before that to get, to the mountaintop, almost win it? What has that been like? What did that mean to you?
It means that those kids put in a lot of work, and they believed in me. They believed in what I was preaching to them.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in their coaches, and they believed in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And throughout that, that's what makes me most proud.
Yeah.
The fact that the coaching staff can come in there and grab the minds of those guys who have been, in no pun intended, but who've been losing for 4 or 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Grab them and say, "Hey, look, it's time to win."
Yep.
And it was new. They believed in it, and it started in the weight room.
Mm-hmm.
Without the weight room, we are literally nothing. It feels good to know that you can develop players. My coaching staff and myself develop the type of players that we have developed to have a winning mentality.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Well, Coach, talk about you talked about the weight room.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about going into that program that's struggling and giving them some belief. What kind of things are you doing to get those kids to buy in?
Oh man, it's more so rapport. When you come into a new program, they got to trust you.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where I initially I talked to them, got to know them, joke with them a little bit, get to know them, get to know their parents, see who their girlfriends are, because I'm gonna say this, you need to know who their girlfriends are, because on game day, you got to know why. If he's looking crazy, you got to go to her and be like, "Look, what are y'all arguing about today? It's game day. Everybody should be happy right now." So that's one of those things that build a rapport and find a common ground with those guys, and I think that set the standard and set the tone for them believing in everything else. And the first belief was the 6-week process of the weight program. When their max start jumping 30, 40, 50 pounds over the course of 6 weeks, coach knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
So now I'm grasping, their minds, their bodies, and right now I can say anything and they believe it,
No doubt.
But you just got to build that rapport, and then they have to see the results coming to fruition.
Yes, sir.
Talk about your journey a little bit. How did you get to Charles Henderson? Maybe where'd you start? That kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, man. It's crazy. I used to coach at these little summer clinics with one of my mentors, Henry Tellis, and he said, you know, you have a passion for coaching. This is what you're supposed to do. But I wanted to go to school for physical therapy. I wanted to go to PT school. Didn't make a high enough GRE score, but my GPA was high enough to get in. So I fought it a lot, and you know, I got a job as an intern at Prattville initially in 2012. Chad Anderson was the coach there, and my first paid job was Carver, 2013, 2014. You know, I had Sean Dion Hamilton, Mac Wilson, those guys, and it kind of skyrocketed from there. That coaching staff was one of the best, if not the best coaching staff I've ever been on. Right now, you're talking about, you know, Billy Gresham, who's the special teams coordinator and linebackers coach for Alabama State. You know, Clint Smith coaches at Tuskegee right now. James Thompson coaches at Tuskegee right now. And there's a lot of head coaches that are now head coaches or now college coaches that were on that staff. So I learned a lot from that staff. And then from there, 2 years there, then I became a DC my fourth year coaching at Hillcrest. We went to the fourth round of the playoffs our first year, and left there, went to Central Haynesville. My alma mater, was there for a year. Left there to go back to Central. To go back to Carver to be the defensive coordinator with Coach Thompson. Was there for 3 years, and I ended up in Troy, Alabama after that, in February 19th, 2021.
Coach, you said just a minute ago that you were on a completely different path. You were trying to go do PT school, and you wasn't really, going in the coaching path. What brought you into coaching? I've asked this today a lot. What was the why behind getting into ball coaching for you?
Look, I just spoke on the why in there. It's crazy. But it was one of those things where it came natural. When I got the intern at Prattville, my mentor Henry said, he used to always tell me, you're doing the wrong thing, you're going the wrong place, like what are you doing with your life? Blah. I'm trying to go to PT school. He said, that's not what God wants you to do.
Yeah.
I mean, his exact words, that's not what God wants you to do. And for me, I don't want to hear that. Yeah. You're discouraging me right now.
Right.
So I told him about the Prattville gig, and he said, you're closer. And then I got hired at Carver. He said, you're where you're supposed to be.
That's awesome.
And that was the confirmation that, and this was from when I was 18 till I was 23, 24, he was telling me this.
Yeah.
And for him to see that, he had to see something in me to say that, hey, this is your calling. Yeah. And I guess I wasn't listening. My ears weren't open to God.
Yeah.
So when he said it, it was affirmation, confirmation, and it doesn't feel like work. So when I was there at Carver, it was easy breezy, and I was like, look, this is what I'm supposed to do. I don't care how much money I'm making at this point, because I wasn't making much of nothing. But Billy Gresham said this, though. He said, you have to work harder than your pay, so eventually your pay can catch up with your hard work.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And that's exactly what I did. I was up at 5:30 every day, strength conditioning coach. I coached Mac Wilson. I coached Sean Dion Hamilton. Both guys end up getting drafted. Both guys went to Alabama. And I was getting paid $19,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I was doing all of this work, and I said eventually it'll pay off, and it did.
Yes, sir.
The process. That's why I'm big on the process. It didn't just come to me. I had to earn it, and a lot of coaches did too. But I'm actually proud of myself for sustaining and continuing, and not being discouraged behind it.
That's awesome.
Well, there's going to be, young coaches that listen to this or watch your clinic, and they're in a position that you were, or a position that we were, and they're looking for, maybe what do I need to be doing to reach the goals I want to reach. So what do you tell that young coach that's starting out right now that, maybe wants to be where you are right now?
Outwork everyone. Yeah. Outwork everyone. Your film hours will tell you a lot about yourself. I tell my coaches, if my players have more film hours than you, then there's no need for you.
Yeah.
And like if your position group has more film hours than you, there's absolutely no need for you on this staff. I mean, it's just that simple. And that's where it started with me. I studied the game, man. I studied opponents. I started learning different tendencies. If a slot was on the line or there was bunch stacked, and he went on the line to play before and they ran the same thing. If the slot was closer to the line of scrimmage, the running back is beside the quarterback, it's probably buck sweep outside zone. If the running back was behind, like those are the tendencies that I took upon myself from watching film from opponents that the head coach didn't have to tell me to do, that my defensive coordinator didn't have to tell me to do. I took it upon myself to get those pre-snap reads for my linebackers so they can play fast, they can play physical. And it turned out to be good for me, man, because and for the young guys, you have to work harder than your pay.
Yeah.
So eventually your pay will catch up with your hard work. I mean, I would say it's just that simple, but you also have to impress the right people.
Yeah.
And that's what people don't want to say. But you have to be in the room with the right people at the right time. You have to know a lot of people, and if those people trust you in those high positions, then you'll get that job, or you'll get that opportunity. But you're not just going to get that opportunity by sitting on your butt playing the game. Like that time could be watching film. Yeah. And it's a lot of things that you can do. You can clinic. Yep. Learn more, because you should be a dry sponge. You should not be a sponge that's full of water. You can't absorb anything. Yeah. Don't think you know everything. Don't think you're a guru. Always be willing to be coached up, even if you're a head coach. And be humble. Above all, be humble. Know that you're good, but be humble. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the advice I would give to them. Well,
and I'll go on a little rant for a second too. In today's world, what I see with a lot of young guys that get into it, and I'm one of those too. The work part that you're talking about, it's kind of cut out. It's more about, I deserve this, or I've been doing this, so I think I need this, and that happens a lot. And you're talking about clinicking and doing things like that. What are you doing, Coach, in the off season? Who are you studying? What kind of things are you looking at to get your team better for the upcoming year?
Of course, I talk to all my mentors. You're talking Al Polk at Missouri, Billy Gresham, Alabama State, Derek Ansley at with the LA Chargers. And I also clinic as well. Yeah. And in the clinics, you're really not going to get anything when you go in. All the good stuff is outside. Yeah. Exactly. I mean, it's outside. So you can sit there with your notepad, and they're going to give you country cover 3, and it's something you already know. Whereas you can go outside, talk to the head coach at such and such school, or the DB's coach at such, or the DC at how do y'all do this? All right. Right. What are we doing right now? If they were having a clinic in there, I would rather be sitting out here with y'all. Yeah. So talking ball on a napkin. Coach, show trips. 3x1, Coach. It's killing me, Coach. Got something right with napkin, and that napkin will look like foreign language to somebody else. But that's essentially I like to pick the brains of everybody. Yeah. And the college coaches that come in, you're gonna teach me something, and I'm gonna ask a question. We have a lot of college coaches to come in. Derek Anderson once told me, if I don't know every defense within the state of Alabama, then I'm not working hard enough. He told me, he said, if I don't know Bama's defense, if I don't know the basics of Bama defense, the basics of Bama State, the basics of UABs, the basics of Troy's, that means you haven't talked to those college coaches, you haven't clinic with them, you haven't asked them, and you're not working hard enough. And I felt like he was fussing him. I'm like, dang, man, you was my coach in college. I'm a grown man now. But at the end of the day, he say, but I love you. Yeah. All right, bro, I love you. Hang up. Like, dang, man, you just hurt my feelings, but I needed it type deal. But
well, and I think, a lot of what you said, whether it's about your mentors or it's about how you flip the program at Charles Henderson, all of it, from what you said, kind of comes back to one theme, which is relationships.
Yep. Yeah.
And I think that's kind of a common theme we've heard a lot today from everybody we've talked to, is the importance of developing those relationships, whether it be with kids or other coaches, and just kind of furthering this profession in the game and being willing to share. Coach, we really appreciate you being here today.
Yes,
we
sir.
appreciate you coming on and talking with us. We appreciate, the content you gave us today in there. We appreciate Chief Pigskin and the online clinic and ALFBCHAT for putting this on. Just really want to thank you, Coach.
Yeah, I thank you all for the phone call, man. Or the tweet, because to even be thought of to do something like this is an honor for me. I wouldn't say I wouldn't have never thought in a million years, but I just feel like I'm just a peasant in this coaching world, and people are seeing, I guess, the fruits of my labor more than I am, and I appreciate y'all for giving me the light and giving me the opportunity to speak so people can hear my voice and the vision that I have for my programs and stuff like that. Because I'm gonna tell you this, and I'm gonna let y'all go. My vision is not my vision. It's a vision of an accumulation of about 80 coaches in one, because football is recycled goods. So all I did was learn from everybody, made it my own.
Yep.
And luckily for me and my program and the coaching staff in Charles Henderson, it has produced good fruit.
Yes, sir.
So, and I'm thankful for that. I'm very, very thankful for that. So I appreciate you all.
Yes, sir.
I really do.
Good luck to you this year, Coach.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it.